Now, last September, Conservationist Sacha Dench was involved in a mid-air collision on her motorised paraglider. The crash in the Northwest Highlands claimed the life of her cameraman and left her seriously injured. Today, Sacha is setting off on the expedition once more to track the migration route of the Osprey. She and her team are travelling from Scotland to West Africa over the next 4 months, this time by car after her injuries left her unable to fly. And our reporter Isla Todd caught up with her before they set off.
Despite being physically unable to return to the skies, the expedition tracking Osprey migration is still going ahead. The team will now use drones and travel by car over the next 4 months to Africa. A tough journey, but even more so for conservationist Sacha Dench, who's using crutches to get around after the accident last year.
I've had serious damage to my lower legs and I still have metal in the lower half of my left leg. So what that means is that there is no way that I can run along the ground with a 30-kilo paramotor on my back to fly.
The team of 9 have been making last-minute preparations here in the Cairngorms before setting off today, and will use key pieces of technology to identify, track and monitor these birds and what issues are affecting them.
We are following the Osprey as it's setting off on its autumn migration path, so the flyway, and we'll be stopping at many wetland sites along the way because the Osprey feeds off of fish, so they depend on wetlands. And we're using the species as a flagship species to represent all the wetlands along the way.
They will spend 4 months on this data gathering part of their research, tracking the Osprey migration from Scotland through 14 countries all the way to West Africa. And it's hoped their research can help other species as well.
There will be a meeting, a global meeting at the back end of next year, 2023, where we'll look at all this together in terms of climate change impact. And I think at that point we'll see what we can do. But we need examples like this to be absolutely on the ground, to connect the Osprey to people, to look at the impact of climate change.
And their thoughts won't be far from their colleague, cameraman Dan Burton, who died in the paramotor collision last year.
He's kind of with me, with us in spirit, and I feel like I'm doing it as much for him and his legacy as I'm doing it for the Osprey and all the people along the flyway.
Although flying is no longer part of the process, the purpose of the expedition remains unchanged: to protect the Osprey and ensure they continue to return to Scotland year after year. Isla Todd reporting Scotland, the Cairngorms.